Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Wherever you are in the world today, I hope that you are doing great. Hope that all is pleasant for you. And most importantly, my friends, I hope that you are in good health. Once again, welcome to the Common Sense channel. On this channel, my friends, we get to talk about those things that people know, that people have thought about, but don't often have the time to discuss. These, my friends, are the things we discuss here on the Common Sense channel. So, once again, welcome to the Common Sense channel. Today, our talk is centered on the topic or on the subject of xenophobia. Xenophobia is not a social construct, it's a humanistic attributes or behavior. All society has a tendency or the potential to be xenophobic. Understand? Xenophobia, or xenophobic behavior are not only relegated to one specific group of people, one specific group of culture, one specific group of civilization, or one specific group of continent. It is a universal human behavior. So today we're going to focus on xenophobia. We're going to look at xenophobia from a general perspective, and then we're going to talk about the situation happening in Africa right now. Between South Africa has always been on the news when it comes to xenophobia or xenophobic behavior, um, aligned with the continent, but it's not new. It's South Africa is not the first. And once we dive into it, you're gonna see the genesis of xenophobia. Xenophobia, it has a lot of economic component to it, you know. So when we look at xenophobia from a cultural perspective or from a societal perspective, you see that when people conditions are not better, politician knows this, sociologists knows this very well. And not only sociologists, psychologists know this, that human behavior, human condition, if human conditions are not better, huh, they turn to find a scapegoat. You understand? A scapegoat is any, it could be a person, a thing. I think mostly a person. This used to justify a reason why something must be done, or to justify a reason why there must be a change, or to justify why certain things are not happening for us, for a certain group of people. And it's because of these condition, or it's because of these people. And that's the reason why certain things are not being done to better the condition of these people or this culture or this community. You understand? So xenophobia is a human behavior. All humans are xenophobic by nature because we want what's best for our community, for our people, for our civilization, for our culture, for our religion, whatever is it out there. We want the best. So when things are not working out the way we expect them, the way we thought they should be intended, or the way we see them to be, or the way we want them to be, then we turn to look elsewhere. And politician knows that. Religious folk, organized religious people, they know these things. They know it's a human behavior. It could be a social construct, and we also talk about that. It become a social construct when government, when religion get into it, then they start to manipulate that situation by enforcing the will of the people, or enforcing those things that the people deem as those things that are affecting their lives, based on these people, based on this culture, based on this tribe, based on these religious set. You understand? So xenophobic or xenophobia in and of itself is not indicative, or is indicative of human behavior, but also it's not relegated to one race of people, one culture of people, one tribe of people, one continent of people, or one civilization of people. It's just a human behavior. You understand? And that behavior or those behavior can be manipulated uh, um, and misguided to behave in a certain way. You understand? So when you see xenophobic, the reason I can say the reason why you don't see that here a lot, and I think when Trump ran in 2024, there's a lot of that. But it's just that what happened in the on the continent of Africa is way different because of the condition. So every society react based on the condition of that society or that community or that civilization or of that community or people or state or nation. So it's based on the condition of the people. Like in the case of Africa, which we will talk about, it's all economics. You understand? It's all economics. So what happened here in 2024? And but the politicians, they took advantage of it. When the ordinary people were complaining about the plight in the community with mass immigration, who did they pin the blame on? They pinned the blames on the immigrants, the illegals. Some call them aliens, some call them foreigners. You understand? That's a form of xenophobia. You understand? But it's not even a form of xenophobia. It is xenophobia. But violence was not involved in it. Some places there were violence towards the target or towards the scapegoat, all done by politicians. Politicians will take advantage of that. Religious people will take advantage of that because it's big money for them. The more illegals, as they call them, the more foreigners, the more immigrants, the more migrants are in their communities or society, whether they are contributing or not, economically, socially, politically, yes, some by some measure, but it's good for religion because religion get more customer coming to those stores. But then the targets are those people. Sometimes by choice, sometimes not by choice. Sometimes it's just by opportunity. You understand? So all society has these issues. It's just the way to which or the way at which these societies are addressing the issue of xenophobia. In a civilized world, it's different. The measures that are taken are way different versus say in Africa. So let's talk about Africa because maybe this generation, I would say, but anyone who is above 50s, I wasn't born when this happened in Africa, but my mom told me about it. And I've read books on this. I've done history on this, and I've done some research on this. The the first account of xenophobia in Africa started in West Africa. Today, most countries, I'm not trying to make Ghana look bad because Ghana has changed a lot. You know, every country make mistakes. And the more evolution that occurs in the country helps improve the measure at which that country is moving at. And Ghana is doing great. Ghana is moving in a positive direction. And it just didn't happen overnight. You understand? There had to have been some measures taken by governments before. You know, I think the greatest of all, most people can say is Kwame Nkrumah, but yeah, Jerry Rawlings is the father, the one that really shaped Ghana. You understand? I'm not going to take that from Kwame Nkrumah because I'm heavily invested in Ghana. Ghana is a great country. I've been there, I've lived there. I know the people very well. I went to school in Ghana, so I know the country very well. But Ghana has a history of xenophobia too. The first recorded xenophobic reaction or move in West Africa was in Ghana. Although today they've come a long way in a positive direction, but people who were born in the 60s, remember that. And most of the claims that were leveled from the Ghanaian authority were based on economics. So is the case of South Africa today. You cannot say that the people of South Africa are wrong. You cannot say the people of any society, for that matter, are wrong when they're saying that our people are not doing great economically, socially, politically, because whether you see or not, mass immigration in any form has all these elements that are geared towards shaping the society of any country. It's the truth. But people don't want to say the truth. People don't want to speak the truth because they think that just saying the lies is more is more acceptable. And our whole world is based on lie. As a matter of fact, as far as I'm concerned, because you can see it. So Ghana has come a long way. I saw the Ghanaian foreign ministers. I think he's young. I think maybe it's by design. I think maybe he's not being truthful. Because if this foreign minister understands history, he would go way back to the early 60s when Ghana expelled almost maybe about 3,000 or more Nigerians. Majority, there were a couple of nationalities that I know there were Liberians too, but it was geared towards Nigerians. It's always the Nigerians, because the Nigerians are not people who just sit in the country, they travel. Even we're talking about the time when Nigeria was doing great. In the 60s, Nigeria was a great place to live. But there's a segment of the Nigerian populations that are just travelers. They are business-minded people. So they go all over the world and they plan businesses. They're inventors. They are these business people. You find them all over the world. There's no country on this planet that you'll go, you'll find Nigerians. And this is the truth. So Nigerians started building businesses in Ghana. Almost to a point where the economy was almost taken by the Nigerians. Maybe the same is today in other parts of the world, especially in South Africa. And like human behavior, you understand? People, once they start seeing just one nationality, 2 or 3 nationalities, this is the case in Africa. And that's why today I see a lot of African Americans are moving to Africa. My friends, maybe not now. I'm not dissuading you. I'm not trying to stop you from going. It's good. Pan-Africanism is a great thing. It's a great idea. But I personally see a lot of flaws in it. And until these flaws are corrected or are addressed, the African Union are not going to do it. These are a bunch of politicians. I'm going to talk about them because in all of in all of the xenophobic behavior reaction on the news between South Africa and Ghana and other Nigerians, I know Nigeria's always been on the news with them, with South Africa. But you have to see these things. So African American, Black American, whatever you class yourself as, you have to think, maybe not now, but maybe say 20, 30 years from now, you've established and you have taken maybe 50% of the economy. As in any society, any culture, any race, any country, nation, when one group of people start to run the economy of that country or are doing better, the indigenous people of that country turn not to be happy about it. That was the case of Ghana in the 60s. The economy was, they can come up with any excuse, but it's economics. So here's always been my point. So a lot of Nigerians were deported. Some lost their businesses. This is true. Some lost their property. Some it was bad for Nigerians again, and it was bad for other nationalities. It wasn't just Nigerians. So now, in order for you to understand these things, you must start to look at the conditions of these countries. And the conditions of these countries are political. You understand? Today, Ghana is better economic. I'm not going to say no countries in Africa is better economically. None. All of these countries are hanging on thread, not on rope, thread. So it's just a little cut, a little nick of a cut can drop them to the ground or to their predicament. So none of these countries are economically stronger, but South Africa is. Most people have never been to South Africa. I've never been to South Africa. But I tell you what, South Africa is a beautiful country. It was built by the white people that were there. It wasn't built by the black man. And that's the truth. Since the white people left South Africa, South Africa has not regained itself. Don't listen to all the clowns in there. They're not doing well. Economically, politically, socially. I'm not going to talk about religiously. They're not doing well. And when a country is doing, when the white people were running South Africa, they had apartheid, but they didn't have xenophobia. Why is xenophobia in South Africa? Because economically, they're not doing well. The average South Africans are not doing well. So you see, all of these things are designed so that these people that are already in the lab, the Africans that are already in the lab, so they can fight each other. They are deliberate, my friends. Across Africa, southeast, maybe in the Arabian side, like Algeria, Morocco, Mauritania, Tunisia, these other, like Libya used to be exceptional because the condition just improved. Like the point I'm trying to make here is, and you will see this in Africa a lot. I spoke about Ghana, but Ghana are hypocrite, not the Ghanaian people. The government are hypocrite. They behave like it's new. Ghana started this thing. Ghana, the first expulsion of national for Africans. I don't want to say African national. If we're looking at Pan-Africanism, there's no African national. Well, they're Africans. So to expel your brother from another African country that he or she is part of the continent, I don't call that African national, but it did that. So if anyone can point finger on South Africa, that's my point. I'm going to keep going back and forth because this is hypocrisy 5.0. If any country can point fingers on South Africa, it shouldn't be Ghana. I know Ghana have come a long way. Every country evolves. And Ghana has done great for itself. But here's the thing, Ghana. And if you can advocate my friends. This is the honest truth because some of you don't know. It's like the truth is like a disease. It's like Ebola to some of you or COVID to some of you. If you can advocate Ghana, I know you have a big voice, powerful voice. I give you kudos all the time for where you've come. But imagine someone must have changed the mindset. Not just the mindset, because I live in Ghana. I know the mindset of the Ghanaians. Incredible. Great unity in Ghana. The Ghanaians, they will holler, they will fuss with each other, they will fight they will do all the stuff. Most of them are vocal. But when it comes to unity, they can do all that stuff, but they're united. They're not going to fight against each other. Someone must have created that. And all you can do, Ghana, the foreign minister now, go to the AU, it's called AU, and let this be your crusade or your campaign, advocating for each African countries to start to improve the economic condition of their people. What South Africa is saying, we know South Africa is xenophobic. It's not new. They're not doing well. Ever since the white man left South Africa has not been doing well. I mean, when I say doing well, the black people in that country are not doing well. Everything that comes out of South Africa is a facade, but they are not willing to tell you. The government is trash. The government, ever since all the promises that Nelson Mandela promised his people, including to these jokers that's running South Africa today, they haven't met none of those conditions. And the condition of the black South Africans, ordinary South Africans, whether you want to call them white, black, everyone is feeling the pain in South Africa. And now who do they put the blame on? On the ordinary Africans, because I don't call them Nigerians, Ghanaians, Zimbabweans, or people from Botswana or Uganda. They do this to these people. But Ghana, I know you speak out. But all you can do, Ghana, and this goes for all these African countries, start to improve the condition of your people so that when they do travel to South Africa, they're only traveling there to spend their money, enjoy, have fun. South Africa is a beautiful country. But I don't know about the infrastructure. If the infrastructure of that country is not taken care of, it can go back to Stone Age. The government of South Africa are not doing well by the people. And as in any society, when the people of that society are not seeing the reality, especially the citizens of that society. And I'm speaking to you, the Ghanaian foreign ministers, you know this. You know this. You're a politician. You think you can do this and then people are going to be like, oh, he's fighting for Ghanaian. No, you're not fighting for Ghanaians. The best way you can fight for Ghana, you listen to the Common Sense channel. The best way you can fight for Ghana is to produce jobs. It's economics. If Ghanaians, the average Ghanaians can get up every morning and go to work and are able to work enough, make enough money to take care of the family, and Ghana is predominantly run by Ghanaians, black, the government is black, everyone in that government is black, why can't you guys make the black man proud for once? An entire continent is run by black people. It's not like our black brothers and sisters here that don't have the opportunity. Even if they do, it's at the lowest level. And the ones that runs these communities are all people that are put in front of them, are not even working in the interest. They are clones that are put in there. They are recruit, even though they may look like black, but they're not like really serving in the interest of the people. They're not like you. Most African countries, you have a land, you have a government that's run by you. So you can make these, I'm not advocating for the government of Africa. I know they're jokers. So you doing that nonsense, yelling, pointing finger at South Africa. Hey, my friend, South Africa is not doing well. It may look good, but the governments are not doing well. Ask Julius Malema, he'll tell you. And you know that too. Most countries in Africa are not doing great, even though they're run by black faces, European brains. So all you can do, Mr. Minister, and I'm talking to all of you foreign ministers in Africa, you were just sitting there with your big bellies. You're not doing nothing. I'm talking to all of y'all. Is to look back in your country. Bring your national, if you want to call, I call them sons and daughters of the continent. Bring your national back to Ghana and look within your government or governments, because you may have one government, but it's a shadow government on the side, pulling the strings. I call them the puppet masters. Pull back your nationals from South Africa and look at Ghana and say, what can I do for the average Ghanaians? Ghanaians are not lazy people. I live in Ghana. They are smart people. All they need is opportunity. Instead of you trying to start a fake war between you and South Africa, the politicians in South Africa, they're playing politics. They're not going to do nothing for the ordinary South Africans, as is the case in most of these African countries. They're always going to blame the white man. They're going to blame the white man for everything. That's what I say. It's just like you. You have a family, you have a wife, you have your kid. What do? You get up, you try to, your job as a man is to provide opportunity for them. It's to go out and work and make sure that they don't suffer, they don't starve. Now, if there's opportunity, even there's no opportunity, during the Great Depression in this country, there are people that went out, they were begging to farm under the people's land just to be able to have something to provide for the family. Some people were doing handiwork all over the place. It's your job as a man. But if you're sitting there all the time, you're blaming another man for the reason why you can't take care of your family, when you have a brains, you have a hand, you have a feet, you have a legs, you can do things for yourself. Something must be wrong with you. And that's the argument I've always made on my channel. Stop blaming the white man. Stop blaming the Europeans. Whoever is it you're blaming out there. I know some of you are so delusional that you even blame an entity that doesn't really exist, Satan or the devil. See, this is the biggest problem in Africa. They blame Satan. They blame the devil. Some even blame God on the good day. But here's the thing, the only person you can blame is yourself. Even though I'm saying it in this way. Oh, you saw it because you live in America. Yes, I can live in this country. If I don't do what I have to do, I can be homeless tomorrow, the day after, any day. I can be in a situation where my kids don't even have food. But I get up every day and go out there to find opportunity for my family. Because if my family is doing well, here's the hook. My family is doing well. The community that I live in does better. Not only that, the people in that community does better. That's the logic. So when the government take for example, in America, right? Most of you don't know. And this is true now, there are states in the union that are not doing so much good. There are states in America that are poor. You can check this, Ghanaian foreign minister and any foreign ministers in Africa. You can check this because some of you sit down there, you think America is everyone is doing great. It's a land of milk and honey. It's a utopia on earth, or heaven on earth. I say it's heaven on earth. So you don't see the reality, but guess what? There are states in the union in this country that are not doing so great. But you know what? What works? The system. The system works to a point where someone in Alabama or Mississippi or New York this can't find a job that they want. They can move to other state and find a job. That's what these Africans are doing. You understand? So all you can do, Ghana and South Africa, and South Africa is telling you, make Ghana great again. Make Tanzania great again. Make Liberia great again. Make Sierra Leone great again. Make Guinea great again. Make South Africa great again. Make all of your countries great again. Because let me tell you, xenophobia, Ghana, is not relegated to only South Africa. The only thing here, South Africans, they let you know. They do it in a brutal fashion, which is wrong. It's almost like a society that has no law and order. And I think South Africa is failing. South Africa don't have no law and order. The society was created by violence. You understand? South Africa history was created by violence, and it still is today. So if you're in any African countries, I'm not saying you shouldn't go there, but go there to visit, spend your money if you want to, or just don't go there. That's the reality. They're telling you don't come here. This is for those Pan-African people. The reality is this. Pan-Africanism is a joke. It's a business for someone who is just trying to fool you. It's delusional. You understand? It doesn't exist. And I think if you want to attract African American to Africa, just do it from a business perspective. Don't tell them come to Africa. That's for you, AU or African Congress, because some of you're in there, you're playing politics with African American or Black American. I like to say, because there are people that class themselves as African American, there are people that class themselves as Black. Wherever you class yourself as, don't be misled by these people. I'm telling you, Africa can make the changes. I'm talking about AU and African Congress, or the ones that said they represents the diaspora. You can make these changes. How is this? How do you do that? By making sure you put in legislation in all of these African countries that protects any Black person. Because today they're not doing these things. South Africa is not doing these things to African American. But who said someday they wouldn't? Or Black American? Who say? If they start going on the street asking people for their paperwork or their immigration status, who said they can pick up one Black American or one African American on the street? Today is Nigeria. Today is Ghanaians. Today is Ugandan. Tomorrow could be them. So the best way to protect these people is to legislate. Call South Africa to come up with a legislation, immigration legislation, because I heard this one lady, she was talking about how they're trying to reform their immigration. Reform your immigration, because Africa is not going to be united, especially, sorry if I'm breaking the news to you, who believe in Pan-Africanism and African unity. If I ever say this to you, if I'm saying this to you and you're upset, I'm sorry about that. But Pan-Africanism is an illusion. It's a joke. Only if you can open your eyes and see the reality and do your research, and you're not being moved by emotion. Even PLO Lumumba, he knows the reality, but he's not going to tell you. The only way, it's going to take an act, not of God, an act of Africans themselves, maybe a war, for there to be an African unity. It's not going to be done by words of mouth or by good speeches, emotional speeches. No, not going to be done. And it's going to be done by people taking tangible, you hear? Nah, prayer, none of that stuff. No act of God can make that happen. If you want Africa to be united, to get rid of all the xenophobia, which is, I don't think is possible, but to get rid of all that, to dismantle all the borders and stuff like that, all the nationalities, and to get rid of all that, to be called African, it's going to take tangible actions. Not just somebody go sit in the AU hall and make noise and blame the white man all the time. That's all they do. All you can do, Ghana, back to Ghana, is to make sure you take care of the needs of the Ghanaian people, just like you were trying to do in the 60s. You say, oh, too many Nigerians, too many nationalities. They're taking away our jobs. They're taking away our economy. They're running our businesses. They're running our schools. We don't want that. We want to be in charge of our economy, of our people, and everything that comes to us. That's all you can do. Make sure Ghana is better. The average Ghanaians should wake up in the morning and don't even think that Nigerians are taking away their jobs. That's how it should be. When I get up in the morning in this great nation, in America, right, I don't think about stuff like that. I know if I want a job, I don't need to go kneel down and pray. If I want a job, I don't need to go to fasting. I don't need to go to crusade, none of that stuff. I don't need to blame nobody. I just need to go look for a job. If it's online, go online. If it's walking in the neighborhood, talking to people, networking, that's what I do until I can find something. You understand? That way you're not blaming some, you want to call them foreigner or aliens. You want to call whatever you want to call them. This is true in most Western countries. What that says is the system is working. You understand? Your system in your countries are not working. The system in South Africa, if you don't know, it's not working for the average South Africans. You understand? So when these people, Nigerians are business-minded people, so are Ghanaians. I'm not going to say Ghanaians in South Africa are just milking the system. Most of them are business people. Maybe there are evidence that they're doing something dubious in the country. That's what you have immigration for. But to see these vigilantes going to the street like they do the Ugandans, hack them to death with the machetes, that shows you there's a breakdown in law and order. And South Africa is notorious for that. You should have seen in the 90s when they are fighting for the rainbow country. And you ask them today, what is the outcome of what South Africa became after the 90s to now? They can't tell you. But if you want to know these things, just listen to Julius Malema. He'll tell you. But one thing he's not going to tell you, the South African government is failing their people. And guess what? When the government is failing the people in terms of their policies, in terms of their legislation, in terms of the promises that they have promised their people, guess who they take it on? Immigrants. They take it on foreign people. They take it on people who has nothing to do with the policies that runs their country. Understand? So if nothing is done to improve the condition of ordinary Africans, which is my main priority. I don't care about the government. I know the government is a bunch of lazy in their brains. Some of these people were created by a lesser God, and yet they pray to a God. They subscribe to a religion that has nothing to do with their reality. You understand? These people are nothing but losers. These governments in Africa are nothing but losers. Only if they can make their country first, make their country great. Those smaller countries has no reason. You see, Gaddafi had the blueprint. This thing, what I'm saying on my channel and many others, can be possible. You understand? It's not that it can't be possible. Gaddafi showed African leaders that you can do right by your people. That the continent, the man makes sure that his people had everything. Ask the Libyans today. They are begging. They hope that those days of Gaddafi can come back. But it's never going to be. Because wherever those who wanted them to be, that's where they are. You understand? So good governance can be made possible in Africa. But the leaders must do right by the people, and they are not. If they think South Africans are going to suffer like they already are, regardless of immigrants living in South Africa, regardless of foreign nationals living in South Africa, and regardless of Nigerian, Ugandan, Botswanians, and Kenyans, whoever in there, regardless of these people being there, the condition, take it from the common sense channel, of ordinary South Africans will always remain the same. Why? Because the government is not doing right. These people, the experiment that for some reason when apartheid was there, we were suffering, people were being segregated, destroyed, murder. Now there's no, I don't want to say no apartheid. Now that they're not on apartheid anymore. No more apartheid. And yet, the condition of the ordinary South Africans have not changed, are almost the same as it was during apartheid. Even though it's taking a new face, the government are failing them. And the politician knows that. Politician will use anything, any situation, any condition, anything for that matters. Doesn't matter what country it is, to gain power and control. That's what it is, period. And those people who are trying to do the right thing are the ones who are the target. Understand? So if you're living in South Africa as a foreign national, as they want to call you, because they only target black people, their own people. Just imagine, they only target their own people. You know why they target their own people? Because the people are not going to do nothing. If these South Africans ever lay their hands on a Chinese person or an Arabian person or someone from Europe or America, they know the consequences. So they're not going to touch these people. You understand? They'll go to the ordinary Africans. The one just trying to struggle because the condition of his country, not struggle, the one just trying to get by. Financially, looking for opportunity. Those are the ones they're going to target because they know that their countries are not going to do anything. And those ones are only trying, they left the country because they don't have the opportunity to go to Europe. They say, which is a normal thing. The continent belongs to all Africans, all blacks. So you should be able to go to any country in Africa. But because of what colonialism did, separate the countries. And they're just making it happen. They're just making that reality happen every day. So good luck, Pan-Africanism. Good luck. Good luck. Now you see the reality. So they're not going to touch those other people because they know the consequences. And I dare you, any South Africans, you evil ones, not all of them, the evil ones, you touch a Chinese person and see what happens. Because the Chinese, they don't go to South Africa to work for South Africans. They don't go there. The Europeans don't go to South Africa to work for black South Africans. They go there with their jobs and let you work for them. So you're not going to touch them. So Zimbabwe, I feel for you. Tanzania, I feel for you. Look within your government and start to make your country great. We understand what's happening in Zimbabwe, and we know one day Zimbabwe will be free. Robert Mugabe did what he could, a great man. Don't care what they say about Robert Mugabe. He stood on what he wanted. He stood on for his people until his end, until he left this world. Make Zimbabwe great, so your people won't be hacked to death on the street by these vigilantes evils. They never tried that nonsense with any foreigners from Europe, from Southeast Asia, from Asia, but they'll do it to their own self, their own people. They are despicable. They are destroying their own people, and they want other people to respect the black man, the Africans. When you are destroying your own self, how can you be so mean and evil to your own self, your own people, your own race, and then you expect someone to respect your race? You understand? No one will respect your race because you have got no respect for yourself, and therefore you've gotten no respect for your race. So no one will respect your race. If I come to South Africa and I see the way, if I say I'm a Chinese or an Indian or from any part of the world other than Africa, and I come there and I see the way you treat your brothers and sisters, spit on them, talk down on them, and I see it, don't you think that will embolden me to do the same? But if I come there and see the way you react, the way you behave to your brothers and sisters, the manner in which you talk to them, the way you react to them, the way your sense of family towards them, that's exactly what I would do. I would treat them the same. And because of these things that you do on the continent of Africa, when people from other countries, when they visit Africa and they see these things, when they come back to their country, that's exactly how they see those of us that live in the diaspora. You are disrespecting us by doing these things. So Ghana, bring all your nationalists out of South Africa. And this goes for all these other countries in there. Start to provide to these people the opportunity. If someone is brilliant, they are inventors, they are creative, and they are Ghanaians, they have a mind of a genius. Support them. Pour money into these people. Let them be the engine to produce jobs. This is what happens in most Western countries. They invest in their people. Human capital, that's what it's called. Invest in the ordinary Ghanaians. If someone is great at business, invest. Don't give them macro loan. Investment is different from macro loan. Macro loan are not going to create a corporation, although it has a tendency or potential to do that, but not in Africa. Invest in your economy. Invest heavily in people who have great minds. Invest in these things. Invest in institutions so that people with great ideas can stay. That's how you can make your country great. America did that after the Great Depression. They invested in roads, infrastructure, and eventually invested in education. And then in less than no time, America was able to emerge out of the Great Depression. It's a miracle that is hard to explain how that happened. The same miracle that happens in this country can happen on the continent of Africa, in each of your countries, because the idea of Africa unity is not going to happen in this generation, and maybe some 100 years from now. Stop fooling yourself. It's the reality, not with what's happening now, xenophobia all over. Xenophobia can happen in any of these countries, it can happen anywhere. You get it? It can happen anywhere. Okay, so I don't want my video to be too long. This message for Africa and xenophobia. Xenophobia is not relegated to one culture, one people, one race. It's a human condition. You understand? It's human behavior. So as I've always say, and will say again, the greatest thing that could ever happen to anyone is not the day you were born. Not the day you had your first car, the day you graduated from high school, college, the day you became a lawyer, a doctor, whatever it is that you're working on out there. The greatest thing, my friend, that could ever happen to you is the day you discover yourself. Because from that moment on, everything start to make sense to you, including understanding the genesis or the beginning of xenophobia. You understand? I feel sorry all the time for the scapegoats because xenophobia is not only economic, it's political, it's social, it's religious, it's everything in between. So those people who are in charge of the country and who are responsible, who are elected to produce for the country, to provide the opportunity for the people. If you are failing your people and your country and your economy, you need to step up the game and provide for your people. If your immigration system is broken, fix it. If the condition of the average person in your country are not better, improve it. That's what you ought to do. Stop complaining. Stop blaming other people for your problem. If your wife is not getting the things that she needs to do, you don't blame other people for the things that she needs to have, or your children are not being taken care of. You don't blame other people. You blame yourself. If your household is dysfunctional, you blame yourself. You don't blame other people for having a dysfunctional household. It's the same thing with a country. If your country is not doing well, you blame yourself. Blame the politicians in your country. They are the ones that are failing you, not South Africans. South Africans, they have their own issues. And they know they have not been doing well. The experiment is not working, has not worked, and will never work. Because why? The foundation of South Africa was not built by them. And if something is not built by you, it's hard for you to run it. And that's why South African government is failing the average South Africans. So in order for them to address that issue, they blame it on the ordinary people that are just coming from Ghana, South Africa, Uganda, Botswana, Zimbabwe, Tanzania, Ivory Coast, and just looking for opportunity. They blame them on them. South Africans, you vote ANC every damn time. You need to blame the ANC. They're the ones that have let you down. They are the ones that have created the broken immigration system. Tell them to fix it. Stop killing our people, killing your brothers and sisters, and disgracing the African continent on the planet. We've already been destroyed, talked about, stepped on, and we don't want anything like that coming from you, South Africans. I don't blame you. I blame your system, your government that's failing you. And all you need to do, change it. But you keep voting for the same people and experiencing, or not experiencing, but expecting a new outcome. If it's good for you, it's good for everyone. Stop doing what you're doing. In Ghana, you don't stand on moral grounds to point fingers at South Africa because when I say Ghana, I'm talking about the politicians there. Go back into your history and see if you didn't do the same thing that South Africa is doing. You didn't kill immigrants on the street like they are doing. That's just a fringe groups. Those people killing their brothers and sisters from Zimbabwe, Tanzania, Ghana, other parts of Africa, these are just fringe groups. It's not all the South Africans. They're fringe groups that know their history is based on violence. And so if you understand the history of South Africa, you know the whole thing was based on violence from the white South Africans, the apartheid in South Africa. It was based on violence. So it's the same today. So if you're in South Africa, You don't want to be the victim? Go back to your country. And if you go back to your country, this country needs to provide an opportunity for the people to do better. That's all you need to be doing. I don't focus that much on AU because I know there's a bunch of do nothing people over there. But that's what AU needs to be talking about. Talk about immigration in these countries. Talk about economics in this country. And reinforce these things in each of these countries so they can provide opportunity for the people. Some of these countries have so much natural resources that, to be honest, right, none of the people should even suffer. Again, Gaddafi showed that this thing is possible. The great Gaddafi shows that each of these countries can do right by the people. You understand? But it don't. In this country, it's the same thing. Not all states are economically better or doing great. But those ones that are doing better, they can absorb the ones. Anyone in any of these, if I'm tired of living in the state that I'm living in, I can just move to other state. No one is going to go hack me or use machetes. Or maybe they may say, oh, we have more and more people moving into our community. We don't, but they're not going to be violent with you. They could if they want to, but they're not. They don't do stuff like that. Why? Because the system works. You understand? The system in your countries are not working. That's why the ordinary people are moving away. There's no reason why a Ghanaians cannot go to South Africa. There's no reason why a South African cannot move to Ghana. There's no reason for that. But to see them doing that is wrong. And I just showed to you that Pan-Africanism is a joke. And it's a business. And that business must be exposed because their reality does not fit the reality. Take it from the Common Sense channel of the continent of Africa. Africa, my friend, is a place to be. It's very, very divided. As I've always say, I want to thank all those people that watch my videos, all those people that continue to support the work I do here, and all those people that remain subscribed to my channel, especially those who are genuinely subscribed to my channel, not those leech, those bloodsucker, and those spies that are on my channel, looking for information to take to their masters or their master, and report what I'm saying here, as if I don't have the right to say them. On the Common Sense channel, all you hear here are the truth. And I know the truth is infectious. A lot of people don't want to hear, even though it's their reality. Because why? They're living in lies. There are a lot of people, there are a race of people, there are a group of people on our planet that their entire life is based on lies. So the only thing that makes them going, that makes them living, that makes them existing are lies. And they would do whatever it takes to protect that light. But wherever there is light, darkness must move and must move quickly. Thank you, and have a pleasant day. I hope that you and your family, most importantly, are doing great and are in good health. Have a pleasant day. Thank you.